Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Cove Media, and today we will be getting back into creating our very first game of Pong. And today we are going to be looking at adding some movement to our game. So if we pull up our code and we just do a quick check to make sure everything's still working. Give it a minute. Sometimes it's a little rusty. There we go. So here we have a window and a few objects on the screen. We have two paddles and a ball, not a halt going on. So today we're going to be getting the player paddle, which is the one on the left side, moving. So we're just going to stop the program and we're going to add what we need to add. So first thing, we're going to have the program look for key presses. So under running, we're going to do it right above our screen fill, just so we know what we're adding. We're going to put a comment. I just call it player key presses, just so we know this is how we're causing the movement in our program. So we're going to create a variable called keys, and it's going to be equal to Pygame dot key dot get pressed. So what this is going to do, it's going to be looking for keys to be pressed. Now it's not going to be every key. We're going to tell it what keys to look for. So we're going to do if keys brackets Pygame dot, you're going to put upper K, which is a shorthand for key, underscore, and you can designate any key you want, but we're going to be doing up and down movement, and generally it's going to be WS, so we're going to do K underscore W, and that will be our upper movement, a full colon. And then we're going to do a second one, if keys, same thing, except for we're going to be doing down movement, Pygame dot K underscore, and we're going to do S because this will be the downward movement. Now we need a little bit more information for this to do anything. So we can go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and prep it. We'll do player paddle dot Y, and so this is Y axis, so this is up and down. If you wanted to move it left and right, you would tell it the X. And what we'll do right now, just to test everything out, we're going to set minus equals, and we're just going to give it the value of 1. And you may ask, well, why negative? So in a lot of instances in 2D programming, you're making a 2D game, negative, when the programming side of things, negative is up, positive down. It's just how it works. It's what we're doing. It's what we have to live with. And same thing down here. We're going to do player underscore paddle, and this is just calling that. This is the player paddle variable we made last episode. Dot Y, and we're going to do plus equals 1. So we're going to run our program real quick to see if everything worked correctly. There we go. You see, if you press, I'm holding W, it goes up. I'm holding S, and now it's going down. And we're just going to keep going and keep. A little slow, so let's speed them up just a bit. We'll do 6. I'm going to save, and now we're going to run the program again. There we go. So W up, ooh, a lot faster. So we're going to exit out. Now, we can leave it like it is, but a better way of controlling our paddle speed is, especially if you want to make changes to it yourself, we're going to come up back up top. And here we have our comments, and we have define paddle and ball sizes. So I'm going to change that sizes, and we're going to call this variables. So this is for going forward. Anytime we need to add something else to help control or bind what we're doing in the play space, we'll put it up here, and it'll be not just the sizes, it'll be anything relating to those paddles and the ball. And so what we're going to create a new variable. I'm going to add it under paddles. I'm going to call it paddle speed. We're going to set it to that 6. And now we're going to come back down to these, and we're going to add that in. Oh. And if, just so you know, the way I'm kind of speed through some of this, when this pops up, you can use your arrow keys, and if you hit tab on the highlighted one, it just fills it in. So now if we test it again, oh, there we go. There, see, up and down. And we can easily change it. Let's just set it to 12. Let's set it up pretty ridiculous. Very quickly. And what that speed is, what that value is it's moving that many pixels per frame. So the speed of the game, which we have set to 60, will also affect some of that. But one thing else, if you notice, if you just hold W, it'll keep going up. And now I can hold it, and eventually it'll come back on screen, and it can go down. Now that can be problematic because we really don't want either paddle or to go off screen like that. So we close out. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to set a limit. So we're going to tell the game if the paddle gets to this point, don't allow it to move anymore. And so we're going to place that below our player movement, and we're just going to call this the paddle movement limit. So we're going to call up our player paddle again and the Y. And from here, this is what we're going to tell it, is we're tell it max. We're going to have to put several variables in here. So we're going to put 0. And then min can be, I needed height. That's calling the height variable we have put up top to define the size of the window, minus our paddle height. Our paddle, player paddle dot y. I'm going to show this, and I'll explain a little bit more what we're doing here. All right. Oh, see? Now, when we move it up and down, it will no longer go off the screen due to the limits we put in place. So here, what we're telling it, we have these max and min. So this is just telling it can't go past 0, and then it can't go past the height of the screen. So we're telling it, hey, we want you to stay within the boundaries of the window that we're creating. And nice thing about using the variables, these variables, if we ever change the width or the height, we don't have to worry about coming back to change the code. It'll know what to do because we already have it programmed in place, and it'll do what we want it to do. So now we have this very small foundations of our game. We can move ourselves. Next lesson, we will move on to getting that ball to work and to move, and then we can actually start getting a little bit of a gameplay loop going. I thank you all for joining me today. I wish you all the best. Please come back and have a fantastic day.